In a quiet village surrounded by tall palm trees and dusty paths, there lived a man named Kareem. To anyone who didn't know him well, he seemed like a normal young man, calm, respectful, and always greeting elders with a slight of bow of his head. But behind that quiet nature was a habit he had carefully hidden for years. Karim was a thief, and over time he had become very good at it. It didn't start big. At first, it was small things from the kitchen when no one was looking. A few coins carelessly left at the window side, nothing that would immediately raise alarm. But as days turned into weeks and weeks turned into months, Karim grew more confident. He began to study people, their movements, their habits, and the time they were most distracted. One afternoon, his neighbor, Papa Sikirat, was sitting outside enjoying the evening breeze, his phone resting beside him. When a visitor called him out from across the compound, he stood up and stepped away just for a moment. That moment was all Karim needed. He had been watching quietly from a distance. In a swift, carefully move, he picked up the phone and disappeared before anyone could notice. Later that evening, Papa Sikira searched everywhere, confusion written all over his face. Villagers gathered, asking questions, suggesting possibilities, but no one suspected Karim. He was right there among them, nodding, even offering to help look around. After a while, he quietly slipped away, went to a corner where no one could see him, and brought out the phone, smiling to himself as if he just won a prize. Instead of stopping, he even became more daring. A few days later, Mama Agara cried out in distress when the money she had tied securely inside her wrapper went missing. She insisted that she had just checked it moments before. Again, the villagers gathered. Again, Karim stood among them, shaking his head, acting surprised, even suggesting that maybe someone from another village has passed through. As time went on, his eyes became sharper. He noticed everything: who left their doors open, who eat things carelessly, who trusted too easily. It was no longer just about taking things. It was about proving to himself that he could outsmart everyone. Then, one morning, Mrs. Shalewa woke up to a shock. Her chickens were gone. The coop was empty, feathers scattered on the ground. Her cries filled the air as neighbors rushed to her side. Karim was there too, standing with the rest, asking questions, pretending to care, while deep inside, he felt nothing but pride. No one could catch him. No one could prove anything, and that made him feel untouchable. One day, his friend Bode invited him to visit his village for a festival. It was a big event, the kind that brought people together from different places. Music, dancing, food, laughter filling every corner. Karim agreed without hesitations. To him, it was not just a visit, it was an opportunity. They arrived during the day, welcomed by the lively atmosphere. Bode was excited, moving around, greeting people, introducing Karim to others. But Karim's mind worked differently. Even in the middle of celebrations, he was observing, noticing compounds, entrance, and the movements of people. Among all these places in the village, one caught his attention: the compound of the village herbalist. People spoke of him with respect, and from the look of things, he received many offerings. Karim said nothing, but he had already made up his mind. He waited. That night, when the festival was over and most people had gone to sleep, Karim slipped out silently, but he was fast asleep, unaware of anything. The night was calm, with only the sound of insects and distant rustling of leaves. Carefully, Karim made his way to the herbalist compound. He looked around to be sure no one was watching, or at least that was what he believed. Slowly, he entered and began to gather whatever he could find: money, items, anything that looked valuable. His movements were quick but cautious. What he didn't know was that someone had seen him. A man who stepped outside in the middle of the night noticed a shadow moving where it shouldn't be. He stayed hidden, watching closely, and though the darkness covered much, he recognized Karim well. Karim finished what he was doing and slipped back into the night, returning to where he slept as if nothing happened. By morning, the news had spread. The herbalists were missing. The village was no longer filled with celebration, but tension. People began to talk, to question, to suspect. Then the man who had seen everything stepped forward. "I saw him," he said, pointing directly at Karim. The air changed immediately. Karim was called forward. Bode stood beside him, confused, his face filled with doubt. He turned slightly and spoke in a low voice. "Karim, are you sure you are not the one that stole it?" Karim didn't even hesitate. "I am not the one," he replied firmly. The elders looked at him closely. "If you are innocent," one of them said, "then swear before the gods." Karim felt no fear. Deep down, he didn't even want to believe anything would happen. To him, it was just words. Without thinking twice, he stepped forward. "I swear," he said loudly, raising his hands, "I know nothing about this. If I am lying, let the gods punish me." For a brief moment, everywhere was silent. Then he felt it, a strange discomfort in his stomach. He shifted slightly, thinking it was nothing, but the feeling grew stronger. Within minutes, his stomach began to swell. At first, it was small, almost unnoticeable, but it didn't stop. It kept growing, stretching his clothes, rising until it became impossible to ignore. The villagers gasped. Some stepped back, others whispered in fear. Karim dropped to his knees, clutching his stomach, now swollen and round like that of a pregnant woman. Sweat covered his face, and panic replaced his confidence. "I will return everything," he cried out, his voice shaking. The truth was clear to everyone. They made him return all he had taken, and in anger, they punished him. Not out of mere cruelty, but as a punishment for his lies and actions. Bode stood aside, shaking his head slowly, disappointment written all over his face. "You didn't even tell the truth," he said quietly. "You didn't even try to." Karim had no words left. After that, he was sent away, with his stomach swollen. He walked back to his own village, step by step, carrying not just the weight in his body, but the shame in his heart. When people saw him, they laughed. Children ran after him, pointing and whispering. Others stopped him, asking questions. "What happened to you? Why is your stomach swollen?" But Karim could not answer. And so, he lived the rest of his life like that. His stomach never returned to normal, a constant reminder of what he had once done. Wherever he went, people recognized him, not just as a thief, but as a lesson. Because no matter how long the truth is hidden, one day it will always find a face to show itself. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story interesting, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel for more amazing stories. Drop your opinion in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. Bye for now, and I'll see you in my next story.